Good morning, student. Today we'll discuss about the renal abnormalities because of the lockdown. As we cannot continue with our lecture in our hall, and we have to start the renal system in the 9th semester, especially for the MBBS. Let us discuss about the renal abnormalities. Okay. In this today's discussion, we'll discuss about especially about the azotemia. Second is urinary sediments, and third one is urinary volume. So we'll make the three presentation in this three topic. One is azotemia, one presentation for azotemia, second presentation for urinary sediments, and third presentation for the urinary volume. Okay. So we all know that in our kidney, this is, you can see this type of structure in the kidney. Okay, so this is the Bowman's capsule. Okay, this is the Bowman's capsule. Okay, and this is the tubule. This is one is called the PCT. This is called the loop of Henle. This is called descending limb, and this is called ascending limb. This is called the DCT, or distal convoluted tubule, and this is called the collecting duct. We all know this. And in the Bowman's capsule, there is afferent arteriole. Here. Okay. And this is arteriole, and where there is a like networking of the small capillaries over here, and this is also the efferent arteriole. This one is the afferent arteriole, and this one is the efferent arteriole, and this network of capillaries is called the glomerulus. It is the tuft of capillaries. It is the capillaries. So this is the basic anatomy of the nephrons. Whole the structure is called nephrons. So one of the function of our kidney is to filter our blood. Okay, filter our blood. Like blood is coming here, and at certain rate it filter out the different electrolytes or waste product in the glomerulus, and it will go here. Some of the filtrate get reabsorbed through the tubules. Some of the other waste product or electrolyte get secreted in the tubules, and ultimately forms the urine. This is the basic physiology of the kidney. So today we will only discuss about the azotemia. Okay. So what is the definition of azotemia? So definition of azotemia is, azo means the nitrogenous, azot means nitrogenous, and mia means in the blood. So azotemia is simple, is the increased level of nitrogenous waste in our blood. The common nitrogenous waste is urea. There is increased level of urea in our blood. Okay, that is azotemia. So if someone asks you what is the definition of azotemia, then you have to tell, sir, it is the increased level of nitrogenous waste in our circulation. That happens because there is impairment in this filtration process in the glomerulus, or excretion through the tubules. Okay, there was an increase in nitrogenous waste. So that this is called azotemia. So can you check or can you calculate the glomerular filtration rate in our body or not. By that we can assume whether our glomerulus is healthy or not. Okay. For that you need to calculate the glomerular filtration rate. Glomerular filtration rate. Theoretically, we can calculate the glomerular filtration rate with the help of inert substance like inulin or inulin, which is only filtered in the glomerulus, neither absorbed or neither secreted in the tubules, and that inulin will pass in the urine, and we can calculate the eGFR with the help of inulin theoretically. But practically it is not possible. Practically what we will use is we take the help of the plasma creatinine. We help our plasma creatinine. Creatinine is the byproduct of the creatine, which is usually formed by the muscle protein creatinine. So when you observe or analyze the level of the plasma creatinine, then we can guess the GFR. Why creatinine? Because creatinine is that substance, the small substance which is freely filtered out from the glomerulus and pass in the urine. It is neither reabsorbed or minimally secreted in the tubules. That's why we can see the level of plasma creatinine level to estimate the eGFR or glomerular filtration rate. If there is a more glomerular filtration, if all the creatinine is going out from the glomerulus, then it will decrease the plasma creatinine. So if there is a low creatinine, then you will have the high GFR. If you have a low GFR, mean that you cannot filter out the creatinine, low GFR, then there will be elevation in the plasma creatinine. So there is the inverse relation between the GFR and the plasma creatinine. Okay. Then why you are not using the urea? Why you are not using the urea? Urea is also filtered out from the glomerulus, but it is also, some of the urea get reabsorbed easily through the tubules, so it cannot usually reflect with the level of urea, it can exactly reflect the glomerular filtration rate because it usually get reabsorbed through the tubules. Okay, that's why we use the plasma creatinine to estimate the eGFR. Plasma creatinine. So what is the fallacy with the plasma creatinine? When the plasma creatinine level cannot reflect the actual eGFR. In a case of person who have a reduced muscle mass, like if someone is taking the steroid for the long time, then that reduces the muscle mass. If someone has the advanced disease, cachectic, because of the low muscle mass, it can decrease the plasma creatinine and may not reflect the actual eGFR. And in another scenario, if you take the high protein diet, then it can elevate your plasma creatinine level for few days. That's why these are some fallacies of the plasma creatinine while estimating the GFR. Okay, then so there are some of the formulas like that what we often use, the Cockcroft-Gault formula we usually use in the ward. The formula says is the 140 minus S into weight in kilogram divided by 72 into serum creatinine level. Okay, like if 140, if you are calculating the EGFR of 50 years span, then minus 50 into weight. If his weight is 60 kilo, then if 72, if his creatinine is 4, then you can do it. You can get the level of value of creatinine by the blood test and weight you have to measure. So by this way you can calculate the EGFR in your system, and the normal EGFR in a human body is near about 100 to 125 ml per minute per 1.73 meter square. Near about 125 ml per minute per 1.73 meter square. But EGFR usually get decline after the age of 50 at the rate of 1 ml per minute per 1.73 square per year annually. Okay, so this is how we calculate the EGFR, and another formula that you can use is MDRD formula and CKD EPI formula. You can easily get this calculator from online. Okay, but you have to know this formula. Now, after calculating the EGFR by MDRD formula, we can estimate the EGFR. There can be the reduction in the EGFR by two conditions. One is by acute kidney injury, and second is CKD. Let's suppose the plasma creatinine level of your patient is 4 and you estimated his GFR as 15, that is low. Then you have to suppose that it is AKI or CKD. CKD usually occurs for more than 3 months. So as we have different other presentation in CKD and AKI, we won't discuss much about these things, but I will tell about something about the AKI. There can be the kidney impairment because of the pre-renal injuries or renal injuries or post-renal injuries. Like if you are having the diarrhea, excessive diarrhea, or if you are having the vomiting because of the volume loss, then your kidney may not get the sufficient amount of the blood, and that can injure your kidney. That is called pre-renal failure, pre-renal injury. That occur usually in case of the hypovolemia or hypovolemic shock. Okay. In case of renal injury, like there can be like, because it may be because of the different toxins or infection or glomerulonephritis, you can have renal injuries. And in case when there is obstruction in its pathway, like because of the ureteric stones or BPAs, you can have the renal impairment, that is called post-renal injuries. So AKI is basically divided into the pre-renal and renal and the post-renal type, which we will discuss in later presentation. But this is how we approach. And CKD is a condition where there is impairment in this glomerular filtration for lasting for more than 3 months, then we can get the CKD. So in a patient where there is elevation in plasma creatinine, and there is also problem in the there is a decreased level of hemoglobin, or there is also problem in the calcium and phosphate, then we have to always suspect the CKD. So this is how we calculate the EGFR and regarding the azotemia. So let us revise it again. So kidney functions can be analyzed by 3 things. One is what is EGFR, one, okay. Second is what are the urinary sediments, that we will discuss later on. Third one is about regarding the urine volume. So today we have only discussed about the glomerular filtration rate. For that we need to understand the azotemia. Azotemia is nothing, it is the condition where there is increased level of the nitrogenous waste in the circulation. That's azotemia, one. Second is, now when we are calculating the EGFR, how we are supposed to calculate? Theoretically we need a inert substance like inulin to calculate the EGFR, but practically it's not possible. In day-to-day clinical practice, we usually take the help of the plasma creatinine to estimate the EGFR. Then why plasma creatinine, why not urea? Because plasma creatinine we use because it is readily filtered out from the glomerulus and neither secreted in the tubules. That's why it can reflect the EGFR. Urea get reabsorbed through the tubules, so level of urea cannot reflect the actual EGFR. That's why we take the level of help of plasma creatinine. So how with the level of plasma creatinine we can calculate? We have different formulas, but often we use the Cockcroft-Gault formula. Okay, Cockcroft-Gault formula, and that is then the MDRD formula, modification of diet for renal disease formula, and there is also CKD API. And for the Cockcroft-Gault formula, the formula is 140 minus age into weight divided by serum creatinine into 72. And for female, I have forgot, for female you have to multiply by 0.85. Okay, the value. And if there is a reduction in the EGFR, then we have to think about the renal impairment. The acute renal impairment is called acute kidney injuries, and chronic renal impairment is called the chronic kidney disease. So for today's, I'll wrap up this session. If you have any comment, then you can write in a comment section. Thank you.